Me 28F, working at nonprofit for youth development programs. Brother Tyler, 26, just finished master's in child psychology specialization degree. Lost his dad figure at 12 when our father left suddenly. Big Brother's program saved his life during those dark years completely. Mentor named Carlos taught him woodworking homework, help life skills, everything. Stayed with him 8 years until Tyler left for college successfully. Tyler always said he'd pay it forward when stable professionally established. Now has good job, wants to volunteer as Big Brother immediately. I work with similar programs, figured I'd help him apply properly. He's excited, fills out application, writes heartfelt essay about Carlos beautifully. Background check comes back perfect. Not even parking ticket ever received. References glowing from professors, employers, friends. Everyone loves Tyler, genuinely, completely. Interview scheduled, he prepares for weeks, researching best practices thoroughly, studying. Calls Carlos for advice on being good mentor, like him respectfully. Day before interview, gets email. Sorry, we're canceling your application suddenly. No explanation. Just thank you for your interest. Goodbye. Basically done. Tyler confused calls them, asking what happened, what's wrong exactly specifically. They won't give real answer, just not right fit currently, unfortunately. I call my contact there, asking what's really going on, honestly. She says off record they're being extra careful now, unfortunately always. Apparently some board members think single men are risky, inherently dangerous, even though they desperately need male mentors, especially for boys specifically. Boys on waiting list, specifically requesting male mentors, hundreds long waiting, but they'd rather leave kids waiting than risk controversy potentially arising. Tyler tries different organization, same thing happens, application denied, immediately again. This time they're honest, say insurance concerns about male volunteers specifically. Insurance company charges more for organizations with male volunteers working directly. Easier to just use female volunteers and married men only exclusively. Tyler points out Carlos was single when mentoring him successfully, completely. They say policies have changed since then, unfortunately permanently everywhere now. Try helping him apply to after-school tutoring program locally available. Coordinator excited until meeting him, then suddenly position filled mysteriously fast. Later, admits parents complained when they hired male tutor previously, unfortunately. So, they stick to female tutors now, exclusively for safety, apparently. Tyler getting frustrated but still trying different avenues, desperately hoping somewhere. Applies to coach youth basketball at community center nearby, immediately excited. Played college basketball. Knows the game, loves teaching kids fundamentals properly. Parents meeting to approve new coaches. Tyler introduced formally, properly, professionally. Immediately, 3 moms raise concerns about young single man volunteering suspiciously. Why does he want to work with kids? Suspicious motives probably. Head coach defends him, but parents threatening to pull kids immediately. Program director pulls Tyler aside, suggests withdrawing application immediately. Quietly. Please. Tyler leaves. Immediately doesn't withdraw, just leaves defeated, completely crushed emotionally. I'm furious these kids need positive male role models desperately, obviously. Especially boys with no fathers at home, desperately needing guidance consistently. But we're denying them because of paranoid assumptions, unfounded, completely baseless. Start researching. Find this happens everywhere, constantly, systematically across America. Unfortunately, male teachers leaving profession because of suspicion and false accusations regularly. One study shows male teachers down 40% in elementary schools nationally. Male coaches quitting rather than deal with paranoid parents constantly complaining, creating cycle where boys have no men to look up admiringly. Tyler starts volunteering at animal shelter, instead much safer, legally, emotionally, but still mentions wanting to help kids constantly every day, sadly. Sees boys in his neighborhood without father figures constantly struggling, obviously. Wants to teach them things Carlos taught him years ago desperately. Can't even offer without seeming creepy, predatory, potentially dangerous, immediately assumed. One single mom neighbor knows he's child psychologist, professionally trained extensively. Asks if he could talk to her. Struggling son, please help. Tyler has to say no, too risky. Professionally, personally, legally. Unfortunately, she doesn't understand, thinks he's being selfish and uncaring, cold, heartless. Doesn't know he's protecting himself from assumptions and accusations, potentially destroying. Carlos visits for Tyler's birthday. We tell him everything honestly, completely. He's shocked, says. When he volunteered, nobody questioned his motives ever. Now, his organization can't find male volunteers anywhere, desperately searching constantly. Boys aging out without ever getting mentors they desperately needed, sadly. Some joining gangs, finding father figures there. Instead, unfortunately, predictably, tragically. Carlos still mentoring, but says he's last male volunteer left standing. Tyler shows me rejection emails. He's kept collected 17 total, accumulated. 17 different youth organizations turning him down, with various excuses politely. All desperately advertising need for volunteers, simultaneously on their websites publicly, but apparently not. Male ones, just female volunteers, wanted exclusively, preferred. Starts affecting Tyler's mental health noticeably. Getting worse daily, progressively deteriorating. Questions why he studied child psychology at all, wasted degree completely. If he can't actually help children professionally, what's the point, honestly? His female classmates all working with kids successfully. No questions asked. He's doing corporate wellness programs instead. Safely avoiding children completely forever. Remembers being that lost boy needing guidance desperately. Himself personally experienced. Knows there are thousands just like him right now, suffering silently. But he can't help because he's male. That's it. Simply stated. One boy in neighborhood starts hanging around Tyler's yard, frequently hovering. Maybe 10 years old. No dad asks Tyler about basketball. Shyly, asks Tyler to shoot hoops, reluctantly agrees one time, only hesitantly. Within week, boy's mom confronts Tyler angrily, screaming publicly dramatically outside. "Stay away from my son," she demands, threatening police, immediately calling. Doesn't matter. Tyler was just being neighborly, shooting hoops, innocently helping. Tyler stops going outside when kids around completely avoiding entirely. Now, the boy still waves sadly. Tyler ignores him, now completely heartbroken, protecting himself by crushing kids' feelings, but necessary survival requires it. I try explaining this to feminist friends, repeatedly desperately seeking understanding. They say better safe than sorry. Always, every time, consistently, without exception. But sorry means boys without mentors suffering alone, desperately needing help. Sorry means cycles of poverty, continuing generation after generation, endlessly repeating. Sorry means gangs recruiting, lost boys successfully easily, without competition existing. We've created a system where loving children as adult man equals predator, where wanting to help equals wanting to harm children, somehow inexplicably. Tyler gave up trying completely now. Accepts his fate sadly, reluctantly. Sees boys like his younger self struggling in the neighborhood daily. Knows he could help change their lives like Carlos did powerfully. But society decided that's too dangerous to allow ever happening, unfortunately. Carlos couldn't volunteer today, ironically enough, thinking about it now, retrospectively. The man who saved Tyler's life from spiraling into darkness completely would be rejected for being single male applying to volunteer today. Statistics show boys without mentors more likely joining gangs dealing drugs, more likely dropping out, more likely getting arrested young, unfortunately, predictably. But we accept these statistics rather than trust men helping them. That's what we've chosen collectively as society, protecting paranoia over children. Tyler's dream died because we killed it with our suspicions entirely. And somewhere, a boy needs him desperately, like Tyler needed Carlos. But we'll never get that chance to have positive influence, unfortunately. Because Tyler learned the hard lesson about modern society's rules clearly. Men can't show interest in children without being suspected immediately, automatically. Even when children desperately need them, most in their lives, urgently. Tyler sometimes gets messages from the youth program, still occasionally arriving. Newsletters talking about desperate need for mentors, especially males urgently required. He deletes them, knowing they don't actually want him there really. They want some mythical safe man who doesn't exist realistically anywhere. Tyler keeps his child psychology degree in drawer, hidden away shamefully. All that training knowledge, passion completely wasted forever, uselessly sitting there, because society decided his gender makes him dangerous, automatically inherently suspicious. Not his actions, intentions, qualifications, or character matter at all ever. Just his gender, and that's all that matters forever, unfortunately, always. The boys in his neighborhood still need help desperately, obviously clearly. He still wants to provide that help, genuinely, deeply, truly, honestly. But the wall between them remains forever insurmountable, solid, impenetrable, completely. Built by fear, suspicion, and paranoia, continuously reinforced, strengthened daily, constantly. And nobody seems to care about the cost. Truly, honestly, really. Except Tyler, who pays it every single day, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. Watching kids who need exactly what he offers them desperately. Knowing he can never give it to them, ever, unfortunately. That's the price of our paranoid society, functioning, protecting nobody. Good men destroyed, and boys left behind suffering alone desperately. All in the name of keeping children safe, theoretically, hypothetically. From the very people who want to help them most.